Welcome to today's 10-minute yoga stretch. We'll spend the whole 10 minutes sitting or lying down on our yoga mat today. Please have a blanket, a yoga block, and a hand towel or something comparable nearby. And then start by lying down onto your back. The blanket can be placed underneath your head to give you a little bit of a pillow. Once you lie down onto your back, extend the arms, extend the legs just down by your side. Place either the towel or the yoga block over your belly in order to bring more awareness and concentration to the breath. And specifically the breath starting down here low in the belly. On an inhale, try to puff up the belly, make the towel, the block, lift just a little bit. And then on the exhale, it falls back into you, into the yoga mat. Start here with 3 more deep breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the soles of your feet to the mat. And as you do that, take a little lift of your seat, lengthen the tailbone, and then set back down to the mat. It's a subtle adjustment. Now, bring the right knee into your chest and try to hug around the front of the shin or underneath your thigh. Just give a good squeeze in here. Before extending the leg, take your towel along the base of your foot. Hold on to either side of the towel and then stretch the leg up. We're looking to make the leg as straight as it'll go. You can flex the foot in the beginning and that should give you a nice stretch through the calf. And then wiggle the towel so it's at the base of the toes and start to point the foot a little bit more and notice how that might change the concentration of the stretch through the leg. Okay, the left foot can stay as it is or try putting it flat down against the mat. And here, it doesn't have to be, towards a 10 on your 1 to 10 scale in terms of your stretch, in terms of your full capacity. This is the opening. What works for you, keeping the leg as straight as possible. Should be a little engagement around the kneecap to tone in your thigh, your quad muscle here on the right side. Remember, you're just opening up. And then you can release the towel and lower the leg all the way down. I like to release the arms, the legs. Just take a breath or two. Notice the difference already in one side versus the other. And then second side, again, soles of the feet to the mat. Maybe again, that little lift, scoop of the tailbone, length of the spine. Pull the left knee into your chest, give it a good squeeze here. And then use the towel and stretch the leg all the way up. And really, we could spend the entire 10 minutes on just this stretch. So if you have longer, feel free to spend longer. Revisit this later in your day. It's a really nice thing to do for yourself each and every day. Okay, again, the right leg can go flat along the mat, and you'll notice that that's giving you more stretch in the bottom leg when you do that, but it might complicate the range of motion on the top leg, so you get to choose. Do you want it up or down? And I always try to remind you, you don't have to do things exactly the same on one side versus the other. I'm just trying to keep my breath somewhat steady here. Nothing fancy. Just holding it. Okay. And then release the towel. You can set it out to the side. Lower the left leg all the way down. And relax the arms and legs. Give it a couple of breaths. Hopefully it feels pretty even, pretty settled side to side here. Pull both knees into the chest. Try to give it a good squeeze here. And use that with a little bit, with some momentum to come all the way up to a seated position. Okay. So now I'm going to use that blanket that was underneath my head as a little cushion and a lift underneath my seat. As you sit on the blanket, those sit towards the front end. So if you think of your pelvis like a bowl, you almost want it to dip forward and out a little bit. Extend both legs just straight out in front of you and lift the arms overhead. Envision that you've made a full 90-degree angle here from your feet to your hips, and then from your hips straight up to the hands. Sometimes from the outside looking in, this isn't a super complicated look, but we're doing a lot to engage in the core. Pull your navel back in towards the spine. A lot of strength that goes in lengthening and staying lifted in the spine here, all the way out to the fingertips. Release the hands down by your side. This is Dandasana, or staff pose, and keep looking right at your toes. And then if that was 90 degrees, can you do 80 degrees? Keep looking at your toes, full length of the spine, full length of the legs still. Walk the hands out, so maybe they're in line with about the shins, the middle of the calf. If you still have a little more range in your body, walk the hands a little closer towards the line of your ankles, but still keep looking towards your toes here. And it's not just that you've lifted the chin and head. I want that entire length of the spine to stay long and with you as much as possible. This seated forward fold is Paschimottanasana. And then walk the hands back up. Okay, now just bend the knees. And like a bear hug, take the arms underneath your legs and start to let the heels scoot out. And you'll notice that I have my heels just on my hardwood floor so that there's a little more scoot that can happen rather than on the sticky mat where they'll get stuck. And then the legs go as straight as they'll go, but certainly you keep some bend in the knees. And here I'm trying to lie my belly down onto the thighs as close as possible and then keep it like that even as the legs extend further. So if the pose before was more about stretch through the back of the legs, now we're looking a little more about stretch through the spine. Okay, and then we'll come out of that pose, shake out the legs a little bit. Bring the soles of your feet together and point the knees out in either direction. This is Baddha Konasana, bound angle. The kids will just call this one butterfly pose. You can hold on to the ankles here and sit up tall and pull the chest through. I prefer to take the hands behind the back, and then you can lean back a little bit, weight into the hands as you lift the chest. Do press your feet in, extend the knees out in each direction. Stay like that, or try coming forward. If you're coming forward, evenly coming round through the spine. And then bring it back up. Take a cross-legged seat. Find your yoga block. I'm going to place the block on its highest height. I've got crisscross applesauce legs here. And then I'm just setting the block kind of right on top of the legs. And I want to lean in, round the back, and set the forehead down. If I've got a little bit more length, I'm going to place that block all the way to the floor and settle the forehead in here and relax the arms down. This is a more passive, restorative pose. Once you're in the pose, you can stay for a while. I'll also want you to switch. This is subtle, but the other favorite leg in front, it feels a little awkward usually. And then you do the same thing again. Friends, I'm going to leave you here, but you're welcome to stay in this pose, and please do if you have 2 more minutes. Thank you for taking the time for this gentle yoga stretch today, and I hope it makes the rest of your day a bit more easeful.